Congratulations on making a decision to design your life and live your vision. And welcome to the method of designing your life. I'm Pamela Shaw, and I am honored that you have in your possession a 90-day planner. Originally, I called them Design Your Life, Live Your Vision, a 90-day process to designing your life and living your vision. This is the 8x11. I personally still work from the classic size, the smaller size. Regardless of your preference, I want to talk you through both the story, the process of creating this so that you can understand the value of what's in your hands. Your next 90 days can be your best 90 days. And I believe with all my heart that the vision you have, it's certainly connected to the history that you have. But you need a bridge. You need a bridge in between who you were and the baggage and the decisions, the disappointments and the circumstances beyond your control, the vision that God has called you to. And I believe it's the method of Design Your Life, Live Your Vision, a 90-day planner. When you look at your history, all you can see is a memory of what has happened. And lots of times we assign to ourselves memories that aren't so pleasant, that cause us to say things to and about ourselves that aren't so positive or hopeful. But when we live in a vision of who we want to be and who God has whispered to us that we are, we have to create habits, key behaviors, daily activities and actions that are going to take us and drive us towards that vision. And that's what I believe this is all about. You know, everybody wants to keep a good date book, and that's all well and good. But, you know, people who need to keep strong date books are dentists and hairdressers and nail techs. But you, as a growing entrepreneur and leader, you need to grow better habits, chosen habits, intentional activities, key behaviors that are going to take you where you want to go. So I just want to do a really quick run through about how the 90-day planner works and what the method is. For me, it was over 25 years ago. And I was on a treadmill walk one day in my closet. I had a toddler and I was restless. And I kept thinking, Lord, I don't want to miss where you're taking me. I don't want to miss it. I don't want to miss it. And I felt him calm my spirit and say, Pam, you're not going to miss it. Design your life, live your vision. And I was like, okay, it wasn't audible, it wasn't out loud, but that's what he spoke to my spirit. Design your life, live your vision. So I'm like, design my life. Live my vision. What is my vision? How do I design my life? Because I had taken every date book course there was, from Daytimer to Franklin Planner. I mean, you name it. I had taken the course, bought the system, and tried to integrate it because I was hungry to get it right. In Psalm 90, it says to consider your days and to consider your time and the investment of your time so that you may grow in wisdom. And so I learned early on that God connects the respect we have for our time with wisdom that he gives to us. And King Solomon, the wisest of all men in the history of the world, when given anything that he wanted to have, God opened up carte blanche. What do you want? He asked for wisdom. Wisdom is the greatest thing that we can have in our lifetime. So respecting time and gaining wisdom became a concept for me. So I started in a makeshift 90-day planner. My late husband, Jerry, was great on the computer, and he put together several of them for me in mock-up after mock-up after mock-up. And then on my journey in the direct selling business, once I hit a pinnacle of position, I knew that other people would want to know the process. And so I put it through the creative work system and got approval for that. And so therefore am able to share it broadly and openly as a result of it being a creative work in my industry, and also something that I share with men and women in all walks of life, from stay-at-home moms, homeschool moms, other entrepreneurs, other companies, because I believe in the method. So I want to take you through what that method looks like. We're just going to literally walk through page after page after page. And I'm going to explain what the pages are so that you can get yours set up. Okay, so the first page that we're looking at is the Design Your Life 90-day planner. You know what that looks like. The first page that I want to take you to is, okay, let's see, my screen share. Always a little something, something, right? Okay. I want to coach you how to live your best life and give your best yes. And that is something that I believe that I can do through the planner. The 90-day Design Your Life principles are sevenfold. Number one is that you can change anything in 90 days. Number two, you can't change what you won't acknowledge. Number three, you can't live your values until you know what they are. Number four, you don't break a habit until you replace it with a different one. Number five, time invested in one area is time away from another, so choose wisely. Number six, change can be hard. The pain of regret, however, is always much more painful than the pain of change. And number 7, if you don't intentionally pivot, alter, or shift the direction of your life, it will continually migrate in the same direction. So here's what I love. You can change anything in 90 days. So what will this next 90 days hold for you? What will it look like? In the first page, write your age out there. Go ahead and add 5 years to it. And let's just say you're 30. What would your 35-year-old self thank you for doing, being, thinking, sacrificing, achieving? Write it out. As you go to the next page, it's important to take a look at your bucket list in your wildest dreams while you are still alive in your lifetime. Now, in the classic side says before I die, so I just wipe that out and put, in my lifetime. What are the things you want to achieve? I want to tell you a quick story. I had gone year after year after year. I've been working in the 90-day planner every 90-day cycle now since 1998. I published it in 2000. But every year, every 90 days, I have been working through this. So in 2004, we went to Paris on a reward trip. And when we got home, our son Thomas, he did fine with us being away. There was never a problem with us being away. He stayed with my parents. They had a great time. But when we got back from Paris, he was like a cat. Do any of you have cats? Do you have a cat? Cats will like pout and pee in your luggage, and he wasn't peeing in our luggage, but he was mad. And so we were walking down the stairs from the 3rd floor to the 2nd floor, and he plopped down on the stairs, and I said, Thomas, what in the world is wrong with you? And he said, well, maybe I want to go to Paris someday. I was like, okay, maybe I'll take you to Paris someday. So I wrote down in my 90-day planner bucket list, take Jerry, Mom and Dad, and Thomas to Paris. Well, in 2006, Jerry passed away from Lou Gehrig's disease, ALS. This was in December. In March of 2007, spring break, I took my mom, my dad, and Thomas to Paris. I took them in first class. We stayed at Four Seasons Georges V, where we had stayed before. I took them to all of the amazing places that we had been before. It was over Easter, and we went to the beautiful Notre Dame Cathedral. My father was always the organist in my church. And to see him standing there in that amazing Easter service, watching the organist play Easter hymns that are universal regardless of the language, the look on his face. And then there was one night where there was one massage for the package that I purchased, and so I took one for the team. But I sent my parents and Thomas on a limo ride throughout the city of Paris, the city lights, for them to see all the lights from the top of the hill, and hired a limo driver to give them that experience. A few weeks later, I got a letter from my dad telling me that I had fulfilled one of his childhood dreams, a bucket list that he had never spoken to anyone, and thanked me for making his dream come true. You never know whose dreams you're going to make come true when you live out your bucket list. So what is your bucket list? Dream big, my friend. You may have stopped dreaming. Don't let anything be too big, too wild, too out of control. What in your wildest dreams goes on that bucket list? And then your vision. We're going to take this in 2 parts. In the classic size, on the right side, I have to white out and adjust mine. I did put it together in the way that I want it in the most recent edit of the 8x11. But look on the left side, put the year in. What would make this year, what year it is, what top 10 things would make this your very best year ever? And then on the right side, what 5 things, which is a lot, but what 5 things would make this 90 days the best ever? And think it through. Your personal calling and your business calling, my why. People get tripped up here, and I don't want you to get tripped up. Pens. First of all, the pens that I love, I love just the regular Crayolas. I mean, these pens are fantastic, right? These are fantastic pens. I love Tombows. A friend of mine turned me on to Tombows, and I also love Zigs that you can get off of Amazon, and Tombows off of Amazon. But use colored pens and pencils, and maybe just start with a pencil and write out words and phrases that mean something to you. What drives you? What excites you? What means something to you in your personal life and in your business life? And then as time progresses, you might have a paragraph or a sentence that you can really stand on. On this next section, it's important that you only select 3 at the most from the goal category. The biggest mistake that people make goal setting is that they choose too many categories. They make them too extreme. They can't even get started, much less finish 90 days of anything. So Choose three. Which three goal categories would give you the biggest bang for your buck? If you really want to achieve this 90 days, choose one and let the others go blank. It's really hard for people to leave blanks, but I'm going to assure you that if you choose one category and do it well, you will blow your mind this 90 days. So choose from one category or three, no more, and then be very specific. You can see, write out the category, and then what do you want and why do you want it? What do you want and why do you want it? You transfer this process. We're going to do this goal setting process on the next few pages, several different ways so that your brain locks into it. So let's repeat it long term, a year from now. What is the goal? And then what's the deadline? And then how are you going to accomplish it? And do that for all three categories. Then short term, the next 90 days, repeat that same thing. How will you measure in 90 days if you're on course or not? Then let's go one more time. Benchmark. Now, this time we're putting all three goals in one place. At the end of month one, what is the goal to the short-term goal to accomplish the long-term goal? End of month two, end of month three. And then what do I want most? And how will I honor, meaning my behavior? What do I want most in each goal category? And what behavior or change in who I am will need to make a difference? Can you see how working this method separates a date book from what we're after? People ask me all the time, is this your only date book? It is. I use the fold out calendar. I put my appointments in that calendar, and then I massively use the yellow sticky pad. This is the best thing I ever invented ever. Half hour apart, it's all the time that you've got. And then you can take it off and you can move it around, move it around to your desk, move it around to another book, move it around in your planner. But the bottom line is what we're working on here is becoming, not just doing. We're working on becoming. When you invest yourself in becoming, then doing just naturally unfolds the activity that you want. Okay. AM and PM affirmations. Again, this alone is a 1-hour class, and I recommend the Miracle Morning. When I first read his book, I was like, darn, I feel like I wrote that book. But there's so much good information on how to create affirmations. I personally do write mine out. If you want to know the truth, I have them typed out. So every time I go to a mentor, I just print them and put them back in here. But I record mine on my iPhone in the recording app, and I listen to them morning and evening. And for me, that's what works best. I listen and receive the sound of my voice, and I also look at them at the end of 7 days, which I'll share in just a minute. But you want to write affirmations because affirmations are the overcoming of your limiting beliefs. Affirmations are the overcoming of your doubters and naysayers. Affirmations are the forward motion of the vision, the visionary person that you're becoming, not the historical person that you've been. So instead of a negative or limiting thought, affirm who you really are and who you are really becoming. Evening affirmations, they pretty much settle your mind. They acknowledge that you've given the best to your day, that you have put your 90-day planner together for tomorrow, that everything is already lined up for tomorrow so that you don't have to make decisions twice or renegotiate. It's bringing things to rest, the qualities that you gave to your day, the character traits, the adjectives that you want to apply to your character. You just reaffirm all of those. And I would say, make 5 or 6. Mine got a little long this year, but, I listen to it over and over, and I believe that it affirms who I am becoming. Habits to create. This is a game changer. If you create only 2 habits every 90 days, that's 2, 4, 6, 8 habits a year. Do you know that by the time a person turns 16, they are unlikely to intentionally create habits? So that if you do only 1 habit every 90 days, that's 4 habits a year. You're ahead of the vast majority of people. Your habits are everything. Your habits are related to your thoughts. Thoughts that don't serve you well end up creating habits and behaviors that also don't serve you well. And so thoughts that you want to become, which go back to your affirmations, you create thoughts about who you want to become, then you align habits to support that journey. Start the habit. Reality is this: you cannot break a habit until you replace it with a new one. I can't break the habit of sleeping in until I create the habit of waking up early. I can't break the habit of overeating the wrong foods until I create the habit of eating healthful foods. And so those are just a couple of examples. You can create a habit about gossiping. You can create a habit about social media scrolling. So you look and think to yourself, you already know the answer. You already know your instinct. What do you need to create as a habit to overcome and to align with the person that you say that you want to become? Master task list. This one is it's just epic. Things swirl around all the time. Oh, I got to do this. I got to clean out the garage. I need to sort my t-shirts. I need to, I got to get rid of that pile. We need to repair the roof. We need to do re-insulate something. It just never stops. And I put this in the book years and years ago, when every time I would pull into my driveway and I would look at the second floor porch and think it needs painting. And then I would pull in the garage and I'd be like, oh, these golf clubs need organizing. So by the time I walked in the house, I was so mad. I was mad at my husband. I was mad at everybody. The porch needs painting and the golf clubs are everywhere. When in fact, they were no big deal. So I created a master task list, things that I need to do for my personal life: get the porch painted, get the garage cleaned out, and then things I needed to do for my business or my career or my service. And bottom line is, we all have projects and things on our mind that really need to get done. Last year, I hosted a group of people at my home in August. And would you believe that in the months leading up to that event, I took everything off my personal task list? But every week when I do my space between days, which we're going to get, I would go back and look at that list. No, it wasn't important. It wasn't urgent. It wasn't important. It wasn't urgent. And so literally when I started putting the house together to have people live here and entertain, all of them became both important and urgent, and they all got taken off within that 90 days. So I'm starting over with, well, now what do I need to do? Okay. This page is one that we often kind of glance over, but I attended the GLS conference virtually 2020. And this page was already in the 90-day planner, but I want to explain it to you a little bit differently. See, your focus plus clarity, your focus plus your intention. It's everything. Your focus, clarity plus your intention. Whatever gets your focus, whatever has clarity, plus what you intend to create, that's everything. And if you don't have focus and if you don't have clarity, that's also everything. What is my one thing, the critical inch, 90 days that will impact each goal the most successfully, the bridge from who I've been to where I'm going? What is my one thing? And then write that out. What is the 90-day scripture or quote that's going to keep me going and remind me that God has called me to this and it is going to be a journey and that I'm equipped for it? What inspires me? What's my one word or phrase to drive it all? And then in this 90 days, what can I delegate? What can I automate? What can I eliminate? So at the GLS conference this year, one of the speakers, Rory Vaden, talked about time management. And one of the things he said is that next level leadership requires next level thinking, but it goes a step further, next level integration. So this is really why I started the whole method of Design Your Life years and years ago. It's this next level method. So he talks about time management. And he said there are ways that we've always talked about time management. One is in terms of prioritization. We manage our time by deciding how something is, how important something is. Urgency is how soon, important is how much. So let's say that my doorbell rings right now. Well, it might be urgent to somebody else, but it's not urgent to me because I'm right here right now. Is it important? It's not important to me, might be important to them. So I don't react to someone else's urgency. My air conditioning on the third floor goes out. Okay, well that becomes urgent because I can't sleep. It's important. And so I will stop everything to get that AC working in the middle of summer. So prioritization, sometimes in the old day, we used to talk more about urgent or important. I still think that relates to time management. But today, multipliers consider more in terms of time management about significance. How long will it last? What is the legacy? So today I need to be doing a lot of other things. My plants need watering. I haven't had a walk yet. I've started a super busy morning. I have it tomorrow. And so there's urgent and important, but this to me is significant because if you know how to use your 90-day planner and you use it well, then not only are you going to go this 90 days, and I'm going to talk to you in a minute about what happens when this one ends, but you'll go another 90 days and another 90 days because you're going to be a person who wants to grow. So let's talk about significance. He used the example of how wealthy people view a $5 cup of coffee. Lack person like says, I can't spend $5 on a cup of coffee. An average person says, do I have $5 or do I have a gift card or, you know, on the app? A wealthy person says $5 at 8% over 30 years is a good amount of money. And so you take that concept and you look at how your mindset looks at the most simple of things. So significance is important. Let's talk about, not just smooth over, what needs to be delegated. You can delegate anything. Something that takes you 5 minutes, you're like, you know, I don't need to delegate that because it just takes me 5 minutes. Well, let's apply the wealthy rule. The wealthy rule is spend 150 minutes, spend 150% time the amount of time it takes you to train someone else to do it. Okay, if it takes you 5 minutes, train somebody else 150 times more than 5 minutes to do that. Why? Because the significant calculation says this: 250 work days times 5 minutes is 1,250 minutes. So 150 minutes to save 1,250 minutes is a 733% on your time investment. This is something that I'm looking at now. Things that I'm touching that I could delegate out and get back more time to create more significant opportunities, whether they're messages or tools. Life isn't about getting everything done right. It's about getting a lot done through other people. Andy Stanley said that. So sometimes we have it backwards. We're doing the $10 an hour things ourselves to try and get others to do our wealth building, yet they keep showing us it isn't the job that they want. So we just keep making lists. What needs to be delegated and what do I need to take on more of? Make a list of what you're touching that you could pay someone else $8 to $10 to $12 an hour to do that would give you that kind of return on your time and your money. Automate. Anything that is repeated needs automation. I do all my money in QuickBooks. I have systems to support my career path and promote people up the career path. They're the same every single time. I don't have to recreate them over and over again. Automate anything that is repeated. A system, a procedure, a process, a celebration, an activity. Automate it. So whatever it is that you're looking at, make sure that those all get automation. Most significant private moments, you recognize that you absolutely could have, would have, should have been better off if that had been in a system. When you're not in automation, you keep putting forth energy over and over again for the same things and you're exhausted. You're tired. You find yourself saying things like, I'm so tired, because you're spinning your wheels doing things that could have had a system, been integrated through technology or some other person right away. And then eliminate. Eliminate tasks, thoughts, conversations, groups, Facebook groups, people, conversations. Did I say that? Clicks, noise, where there is a leak of negativity, doubt, company doubt, gossip, finger pointing. It's a leak that will take you down. And so it's important that you not only are taking one step further and one step beyond, but eliminate anything that does not serve you well. Any task that rises to the level of significance, convenience of what your current schedule allows for, prioritize it. Priority is protected from the possibility of distraction. And until you accomplish your most significant priority, everything is a distraction. So as you look at this page, don't just gloss over it, okay? Let me see if I can get rid of this for a second. Let's see. Cancel. I don't want to do that. I'm going to move this. Don't just gloss over this. What can you automate? What can you eliminate? And what can you delegate? This was the slide that Rory Vaden used in his presentation. And he calls it the focus funnel. So eliminate, automate, delegate, and then he says procrastinate on purpose. So either concentrate now or do it later, but make a decision. I think this falls more under urgency and importance. And so I encourage you to really take some time on that page. Now, before we go to the next page, I want to show you in an actual planner this 90-day blank calendar. People ask me all the time, what do you do with this? Well, there have been times when I actually used it as my calendar. Okay, so you just, put the dates in here and you put your sticky pad on here, and you can do your appointments or whatever you want to do. By the way, I use a lot of tabs and stickers and color. I tab the different pages, so you can customize it the way you want to do it. Get different colored tabs, but on those 90 days, another way to utilize them is to track a 90-day goal. Let's say you're tracking keto or Whole30 or exercising 5 days a week, or speaking only positive words for 30 days, or no gossip for 30 days. Track your habits that you're working on and just give yourself a sticker or a check mark or a color or X it off. The happy hormones in your brain, the happy hormones that make that, the dopamine, the serotonin, those happy chemicals. Checking off lists changes the serotonin in your body, and it elevates your mood. And so that calendar for 90 days, I love that calendar, and I hope you'll do something super fun with it. At the front of every week, there is a brain dump page. Love it. There is a brain dump page, and you can, I always tab that page, because if I'm in the middle of the week and I don't really want to write anything down, but I wanted to think about it next week, just tab it and brain dump right there. And then yes, do a weekly plan sheet. I learned my first weekly sheet from my mother. Oops, I didn't mean to change my slide there. From my mother when I was a child. She created the weekly plan sheet for us. And hands down, it was to get my $5. So it was sweep the porch, fold a load of laundry, whatever it was. But weekly plan sheets are important because they give you a respect and attention to the amount of time that you have going on in your day and in your week. Anyway, if it can't fit on a weekly plan sheet, it is not going to fit. All right, next page begins the first full day of your activity. And so I really want you to consider a couple of things about this. First and foremost, you fill it out the night before. You don't wait until the next day to fill it out. Now, you pencil in, what time do you want to wake up? What time do you want to do your quiet time? Are you going to listen to your affirmations, your power hour, gratitude? I put nutrition here because it's a place where a lot of people stumble. And so you can pencil in what you want. If you're not prepared with your nutrition, you'll do what I do sometimes, which is grab a spoonful of peanut butter and go at it too much, too heavy, too hard, too fast. So I really urge you to consider that. This next row, however, is really more important. You can fill all these in as you go, but this next row, my top 3 things for tomorrow. What are my top 3 things? Space for notes to self in the large planner. What are your top 3 things? What are your top 3 key behaviors? You could go week after week, day after day after day, and your key behaviors be the same thing. Sometimes mine are keto and kindness, zero gossip, gratitude. Sometimes mine will be the same thing over and over. Yours could be completely different. But what are my top 3 things for today? What are my key behaviors? And then what word or phrase is driving my year? I'm still going with elevate. I love the word elevate. I want to elevate your mood. I want to elevate your joy. I want to elevate your productivity. I want to elevate your promotion. I want to elevate your life. I want to encourage you to live the life that God has called you to live. So I'm going to stick again for this year with the word elevate. And then the evening frame of my day, what am I going to do to close out my day? Well, you want to set your day up tomorrow. That's a given. You want to do your half-hour game plan at a time. That's a given. What else do you want to do before you go to bed? For me, it's preset the coffee, walk the dog, set the alarm, wash my face, acknowledge my small daily wins. What is my gratitude for the evening? What am I going to surrender before I lay my head down on the bed? And what time am I going to bed? Your bedtime and your wake time are super important because they have everything to do with your health. This page is all about frame my day. Successful people, if you follow them around, will have the same 2 hours in the morning, 1 hour at night, day after day after day. If you frame your day, understand you're not having to make negotiated decisions over and over again. First 2 hours of the day, last hour of the day. Frame my day. What do you want the morning to look like with your health, your spiritual growth, your quiet time, your meditation, your focus, your workout? What does that need to look like? And then at night, frame your day. What do you want it to look like? See, my presetting coffee at night supports the frame of my day in the morning. I will naturally wake up around 4:40, 5 o'clock, but by 5:15, I smell coffee. So if I've convinced myself that I like my bed better than I like getting up, I like fresh coffee a lot, and I don't want it to sit on that burner. So that decision at night supports my decision in the morning. My frame at night, I set out my workout clothes, and I mean everything: panties, jog bra, footies, everything. In the winter, a sweatshirt or a jacket, so that in the morning, there's no negotiating. A lot of times people won't go work out because they're like, I don't know what to wear, and it's over by the time they go to the bathroom. So I like to set those clothes out, and I put them on my heated floor so that in the winter you can put yours in the dryer, press the button. You've got to become a solution-oriented, problem-solving kind of person. But that's what this page is all about. Frame your day, first 2 hours in the morning, last hour at night, and set it up so that you're only making a decision one time. You've heard people say mail one time. I say design your day one time and then execute it to the very best of your ability. This is the second page of the daily page, and it's simply giving you an opportunity to prioritize. I use whiteout. I change things around. I'll move number 2 to number 1. Mine looks like a hot mess. Don't worry that it doesn't look perfect. Just get it in a place that your brain starts to move in the direction of growing, the method of becoming and designing your life. So what are your 6 most important things to do? I put the evening section in there. My son, super young, because there were always things that I could do once he got to bed that I couldn't do during the day. And so I have the evening section still in there. I delegate or run errands and give those out to somebody else. What do I need to do? My family and home. That might look like, water the plants outside. It could be something super simple. And then who do I want to call or text or email or write or box? It goes on that list. You can see under the evening section, it is design your day tomorrow. There's always that frame to the bottom of the day. This space is the money for this planner. Here's the reality. I designed this 90-day planner on that treadmill walk, but it really hit me when I was thinking about a really big goal, and I came into my office and I was pulling in drawers. I couldn't find my goal book. I had a separate goal book from my date book. Couldn't find my goal book, and it was the middle of the year. These are goals that I had prayerfully, carefully set during December 31st, January 1st, and I couldn't find my goal book. The irony, right? Finally found it, and I'm like, well, it's okay. I'm sure I'm one of the best that I know at setting goals. I'm sure everything is fine here. Some of the goals I was like on course with, and some of them I hadn't thought about for months. And so I felt incredibly convicted. And so I wanted to create a planner goal book all in one so that I would see my goals more than one time a year. With this method, at the end of every 7 days, you're going to see your goals 52 times. You're going to rewrite them out from scratch 4 times. Now, for those of you that sounds laborious, the question is, how badly do you want to accomplish your goals? How badly do you want to grow? Because if you're willing to do this space in between, and if after 90 days is up to start over and use your old book to go into your new book, you may want to tweak some things, you may want to adjust some things, but you're literally going to be writing the whole front part out all over again. You're like, oh no, that's what changes your prefrontal cortex. That's what changes your memory into your future. It's that repetition, and doing it in color is everything. So this is the space between 7 days. It happens 52 times a year, and it invites you to recalibrate. If you've ever played a musical instrument or the piano, you know that the instrument itself has to be recalibrated, right? Just to keep it in tune. So all these words are, and I'm not going to really go through them, but except to say they're important for you to go through. Take about 30 minutes on a Sunday night. I let my week go Monday to Sunday because I like to have Sunday to kind of wind down and gear back up. But whatever your last day of the week is, take some time on that day to set up the new one and go through each of these. Reflect. What did I do well? What am I proud of? What were my wins? Where did I fail? What did I learn? And then review your long-term, short-term goals. Yes, go back to the front of the book, read your goals, read them out loud, review them. Now, without looking at them, rewrite them 1, 2, and 3. I don't know why 4 is there because we're not doing more than 3. And then reconsider, how can I better focus? How can I better improve, tweak, adjust, or change this week to be more in tune with those goals? What skill am I learning right now? And then realign, what's going to make this a winning week? Do you know the value of what you just did? Going back and looking at those goals, I can't even begin to tell you. It's a new week, design it. Roll over any tasks or to-do lists from last week that belong in this week. Check your master task list. Is it paint the porch week or clean the golf clubs week? Just go back and look. Does anything belong in this week? If not, You move forward, you know it's still on the list, and then when it's important and urgent, you'll figure it out. Then reprioritize. What are the top 3 things that will impact the success of my week this week? Write them out. What are my key behaviors to support my win? Write them out. What are 2 important events of this week that I need to focus on? And now redesign, create your weekly calendar and set relevant smartphone alarms. I have smartphone alarms to tell me to listen to my affirmations, to take Triphala at night, to listen to my PM affirmations. And so set the alarms there. And then when the alarms, when you've got the habit, you can take the alarms off, but set relevant smartphone alarms to support you in creating the habit. Fix your yellow sticky pad or your calendar, the large 90-day, it's built in. A lot of people still use a sticky pad, but set your half-hour design and then prioritize your 6 most for tomorrow. And then recommit to the week. What's your act of courage this week? What is your one thing this week? What the one thing, the critical inch, the one thing. And then what's your one habit this week that you're going to give everything to? And then you start all over again with another 7 weeks. I will tell you that part of the method is the magic. It's writing it out and thinking it through. It's breaking it down. It's tracking it. It's creating habits and key behaviors to support it. The end of the week, it's reviewing it, recalibrating, rewriting, reviewing, relooking, looking at those goals again 52 times a year instead of 1. And then at the end of 90 days, it's writing them all over. It's the method that's going to allow you to become the person that God is whispering you to become. In the back, there is a section for projects. Some people use this as trash paper. Some people actually use it to, write out a project that they're working on. But the bottom line is it exists for you to do projects if that's what you want to do. Let me see if that is in fact the last page. Okay. So I don't know if you have any questions. That was a lot to go through, but I believe with all my heart that it is a method that God spoke to me over 25 years ago. And I don't know that I've ever done a day perfectly. I've certainly never done an entire book perfectly. I love starting a fresh book. I just started a fresh one myself a few weeks ago and filling it out in the front and putting the color in the middle and going at it every single day and marking things off to give myself that boost of serotonin and recognizing that God has given me another chance, another day to go after it and to give it my best. So I pray that this blesses you. And I pray with all my heart that this 90 days is your best 90 days. So please tag me in your social media posts. There is an Instagram page for the 90-day planner. It's at 90-day planner. You can use the hashtag 90-day planner, hashtag design your life, or hashtag Breakthrough Academy. I have held 3 live Breakthrough Academies in Bowling Green, but when COVID came, I did not reschedule any of those. And so we'll see if doing one virtually is an option. But for now, what I just gave you is the process, and I pray that it supports you and lets this 90 days be absolutely mind-blowing, that you blow your own mind at the person you become because you're paying attention, your intent is clear, and you know what to automate, delegate, eliminate, and you move in the direction of living your best life. Design your life, live your vision. God bless you, Godspeed, and continue to shine your light ever so brightly.